all Patriots fans out there. This is supposed to be a regular episode, not a Patriots Place episode, but get over it. Brady has been owning this
Yep.
media market for the past 2 months since he threw his pick six to end his Patriots career, according to all you retards. So, speaking of which, what is the state of New England right now? You can finally speak. This is Trevor, by the way.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Trevor, Aaron. Actually, my
Seven
name's Aaron. I know people always call me VonAllen, and I understand that. But my name's actually Aaron. So nice to meet you, man.
Cool. I mean, personally, I think the state of New England right now, a lot of fans are kind of uneasy for the most part. You have some fans that feel that Brady don't live forever, or Brady don't play forever, and that's fine. Like, I got a lot of you. Most of us grew up watching Brady my entire life. So it's like, that's everyone who knows, but we know that everything must come to an end. There's certain people, especially in our little base, that well, not so little, but they are kind of delusional at some point, saying, just like, very unrealistic type of ideas, saying, that giving Tom Brady $30 million or like next 2 years, to me, honestly, is fiscally irresponsible. He's taken a lot of pay cuts so that the team can, win and bring players in to win. So it's like, to me, he doesn't owe New England anything. He literally gave everything he can give. 6 Super Bowl championships. So, I think everybody a little bit uneasy. Me personally, it's like they're nervous that the fact that there eventually will be a life without Brady, and a lot of people aren't ready to handle it yet.
They're scared of change.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying. I mean, when you have 20 plus years of stability, I get it.
Yeah.
He doesn't owe anything to New England, but he's also a really smart guy. And at the end of the day, I think he'll make the right decision. Because $30 million is going to do what for you when you're trying to take that and trying to win a Super Bowl? And anyone knows what it takes to win one, he does. So I think he's just being a nice little scientist when it comes to this. That's why he's being quiet about it, making fun of us with a Hulu commercial about it, and just biding his time. He's not. I know what he's trying to do. I get it. But the state of the fandom is kind of, rah right now. Right now.
Of
What do
course.
you tell?
I mean, who would ever thought that someone in Boston could have overtaken Larry Bird?
Yeah.
As the most, I guess, the most beloved sports icon, or maybe even Ray Bork. I don't know if he's pretty beloved too, but I mean, we're not just talking about an average or just a quarterback like we all loved Bledsoe. Okay, so growing up, I loved Bledsoe. I remember he was drafted. I was like 12 years old, something like that. So I was against Brady replacing Drew. I was like diehard Drew, And I'm not one of these people that say, I saw it in Brady. Nobody saw that, okay? Nobody saw what he was going to become, okay? But all the way up to the Super Bowl, so in 2001 against the Rams, after Drew came in and got the victory for us against Pittsburgh in the second half. Remember when Tom he rolled his ankle? Yeah. And Drew Bledsoe, so Drew came in and looked like the old Drew from like the 97, 96 Drew Bledsoe. And I thought, well, Drew's going to start the Super Bowl then, right?
Going to switch off, yeah.
Because if you think about it back then, Tom wasn't really tearing up the scoreboard or the stat sheet all year. We were winning, but if you just understand the time frame at the moment, Drew was still the guy, It's like he's the one that we thought we could trust. And even Bill Belichick made a joke. He wasn't even sure who was going to start, if you remember, because he mentioned some joke about taking a poll, But so I was pro Bledsoe to the very end until I saw Brady in the end of the fourth quarter do what he did, and then it clicked. I was like, okay, I get it now. I get it. And it's something there. Because I had remembered Drew in the Super Bowl looking very nervous in the 90s against the Packers in the 96.
Yeah, 96.
And when I saw Tom, he looked like a freaking robot, dude. It was
composure.
I felt calm. Like he looked so calm. I felt calm, and I cannot tell you how nervous I was. I was, I mean, you could have stuck a lump of coal at my butt, and I could have made a diamond out of it. I mean, that's how nervous it was, and Tom looked just so, So we're talking about someone who is irreplaceable. So there'll never be another Tom. Okay, and if there ever is anything close to another Tom, the odds are that it won't be in New England. So this is never going to happen again.
Nope.
Tom doesn't owe anyone anything.
I think fans know that.
Right, and they need to understand. They need to temper expectations. But here's my thing: I do not like moving on from guys who are closer to a sure thing, just for the future. Okay, So this whole, but we'll get this guy for the next 10 to 15 years if we get rid of Brady now. And this was a conversation years ago, right? What does that even mean? What is the future? I want to know what the future is. Where's this master plan that everyone thinks they can do? Everyone talks about their future. I remember the Colts talking about their future when they drafted Andrew Luck. How'd that go?
Yeah.
I was dead against it. I said, no, you do not get rid of Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is the type of guy that you let him go out, with a sword in his back. I don't care what it is, dead, dying, bleeding on the battlefield. Peyton Manning gets to go out his own way. I'm a big believer in that. And I was right. So Peyton goes on to break the touchdown passing record, takes Denver to 2 Super Bowls, gets one of them. And how's Andrew Luck doing, by the way?
He's not here.
He's retired.
How many Super Bowls did Andrew Luck get?
By the way, but
and not that it's all on luck. I'm not saying that, but he didn't even get him to a Super Bowl. So how'd that work out? And yeah, they got Luck for a few more years, but was it worth it? And if you look at San Francisco, they got rid of Montana, and they had Steve Young, okay? And it's rare that you have a backup that is going to be a Hall of Famer too. However, you can argue that was the right move. But I would argue that the way that team, the cohesiveness on that team, when they won that 4th Super Bowl, I would argue that they would go and win again.
Yeah.
Okay? And maybe again after that. Okay? So just saying maybe. Okay? I think there's a better chance. So what would you trade in hindsight? Those 10, 12 years with Steve Young, right? Not even that long, was it? It was more like 9 years with Steve Young and 1 Super Bowl, or a possibility of winning 7 in like a 11-year span. What if you were a 49ers fan? I think I'd take the Montana sticking around and then having mediocrity after that. I would take that. I would take that.
For all we know, against those Dallas teams, maybe he could have taken one or extra, or because that was the reason why they kept going out. So
it might have been the difference.
Joe Cool there. You never know. You're right.
No. So this is why I'm afraid of this whole moving on, like this whole. Well, Garoppolo was the future. I was like, listen, I love Jimmy, okay? And I even went for the 49ers because Jimmy, I feel like he's one of ours. He's, we groomed him, we got him ready, and so I kind of root for him in that sense. But no, I was always against that.
Me too.
Tom goes out the way Tom wants to go out, and I don't care if his last year's garbage. He deserves it. Give him what he wants. He wants a 2-year deal. And the reason he wants a 2-year deal is not about the money, about him wanting money. The money, the number amount is what it forces the Patriots to commit. That's what it does. So it's not about him wanting the cash in his account. He couldn't care less about that, okay? It forces the Patriots to have to commit for 2 years because of the salary cap. So if they sign him to a 2-year deal, Tom knows he's not getting kicked to the curb next year. And do you really want to be looking over your shoulder in the twilight of your career? No, you don't. You feel like you deserve to get to say, okay, I got 2 years for sure, but I can retire if I want, and 1 if I feel like it. But at least I've got the choice now. That's what this 2-year commitment thing's about. It's about locking that in. It's not about money. It's not. The money is just a gesture, a tool to lock that in. He's not going anywhere.
Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's just commitment. But
people are not seeing that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave, and it would be stupid to leave. It would be stupid to leave if you're Tom, because you and Bill have something built there that is why would you go somewhere else and just tear all that down? If you're Bill, why would you? I think about it. If you were Bill right now, would you really all those years it took to get a quarterback on and to get on the same wavelength where they think like the same person? You really want to do that when you're almost 70 years old?
That's what I'm saying. You luckily drafted this guy back in 2000 in the 6th freaking round. He blossomed basically the next half year, basically, and you were able to be with him for another 19 to do what you did. Now you're going to let him go when you do not have a real backup plan, because God knows what the hell Stidham's all about. So you don't have a backup plan. Your defense was #1 last year, so you have something to fall back on. You just need to get an extra talent or two on O. You get that with a guy who's already established, who you already trust with the offense 100%. You don't have to worry about that side because you have him. So why give that away to be with a child with a messed up offense and not know what's going to happen with that side of the field?
They have to start all over again.
Yeah, basically.
What is your options? And it's like, think about the money issue, right? The quarterback rates are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Remember a few years ago back when the Bears gave what's his face?
Cutler?
No. He didn't even get to play with them because they ended up drafting.
Mike Glennon.
Glennon, yes.
A couple years ago,
they
Mike
gave
Glennon.
that dude like $15-16 million. Mike
20
Glennon, 15 or 16 million. Okay, so this is the Patriots' options. You go with Stidham. You let Tom go. You go with Stidham, who's making nothing, but he also might give you nothing. Okay,
Sure.
Or your option is a free agent. So it had to be someone substantial. Okay, it had to be somebody worth it. Matthew Stafford. Well, how much is Matthew Stafford going to cost?
It is a trade too. So what? Like almost 30?
The same.
That's almost all of your salary cap right there.
The same, or maybe even more than Tom. But you're also going to have to give up picks for it. You're going to have to give up something for it. With Tom, all you got to do is just sign the dotted line, and you're good. You got your quarterback. So people, fans are thinking, oh, well, if Tom wants too much, we can get some free agent. What free? What? Who? Who are we talking about? And I'm like so confused. I'm hearing these people say this, or we can make a trade. Okay, for who? That's not going to cost. I'm sorry. Is Aaron Rodgers available? Okay. Last time I checked, Green Bay ain't shopping him. Okay. So who are you talking about? Who's this big savior? Who's this guy that can come in and you can just give the offense to? I don't know. Nobody.
At this point, I'm not even hearing names anymore, because I remember I first started hearing about Mariota. I almost threw up in my mouth when I heard that. And
even that's going to cost $20 million at least minimum. Even that. Imagine giving $20 million to that guy. I mean,
thank
really?
You.
And Titans fans. Oh my God, these Titans fans. They're so. Have you seen what they've been saying? Because people have been saying that Tom might come to the Titans because of.
That bull. Yeah, I heard that bull crap. Yeah. I laughed hard.
And to Titans fans, last Saturday night show, we went on Facebook together. So I went on Facebook trolling because I'm a member of a Titans fan group, and.
I missed half of that. I watched the beginning of your show.
Yeah, I joined all. Yeah, it's like midway to the end, and we do that. But I go on there, and the amount of idiocy is astounding, dude. But it's literally like they saying they don't want Tom, they don't need that cheater, they don't need to all that. They Ryan Tannehill is their guy, and I'm thinking this is like the like ugly chick at prom sitting there in the corner making fun of all the hot girls.
I know.
It's like, what are you doing? And it's like that's Titans fans like saying they don't want Tom or they don't need Tom. It's like,
I don't understand that hate. Like, did you see your quarterback in the playoffs? You're impressed with what you saw in the playoffs from him? I wasn't that.
You know what their argument was? Their argument was, well, if Tom Brady is so great and we need him, how come we beat him? That was their logic. That was their train of thought and their actual logic.
I don't know what they're talking about. It was literally 14-13. That's literally what the score until you threw the pick six. Other than that, it was didn't really do much. 14-13 was the final score.
See, I wonder if
I don't understand
if New England would have drafted A.J. Brown instead. I wonder how things would have went out. NFL ready receiver at that moment. I wondered, but I mean, what do we know? You know what I'm saying? They, I love
Listen, I've been saying all season, and you guys know this. I've been saying all season there is no decline in Tom. I do not see a deterioration in his game. I see a bad group of players, and we still went 12-4, dude. We still went 12-4, and we should have had the second seed sewn up, and that was with the worst offense we've ever had. That is the worst group of people we have ever had starting on the field. It was this year, and we still did that. Okay, and I mean,
I'm trying to think of 2006. That's why I'm trying to compare them. Like,
yeah, but 2006, those guys were reliable. Okay, they weren't fast, they weren't necessarily, but they were reliable, and we got all the way to the championship game. I mean, we beat a 15-1 Chargers team, right, to get to that game. So at San Diego, this offense was just garbage. But I mean, I've never seen such incompetence, dude, by wide receivers, and
me neither.
Just and bad sequence of events, you know. In one game, it was just awful. But even with that, you put Tom on the Tennessee Titans this year, and they're in the Super Bowl. I don't doubt that. And just to show that it's not my bias or whatever when people say, Brett Favre just said a week ago exactly what I've been saying all season. Brett Favre said there is no deterioration from Tom that he sees at all. And
you would have to be stupid or Shannon Sharp to know to say anything different. Like I don't.
Well, and Brett, you could say that he might want Tom to look bad because the longer Tom plays, the more it props Tom up as an aging quarterback still at an elite level, as where Brett Favre was very proud of him playing good at an older age. So actually, Brett bragging about Tom would actually go against him. So clearly it's not a bias thing. Clearly Brett is being honest and he's dead serious about it. But I would trust Brett Favre over Shannon Sharp and Max Kellerman. Okay? But I also trust my own opinion on quarterback analysis. And I will be the first person to say it. I'll be the first person to say, okay, guys, we're here. I think Tom is probably done.
I'll do the same thing.
Yeah. But honestly, Tom will know before we will. I think he'll pick up on it and start to realize it, and then we'll notice. But he'll have noticed already. So
and he'll go on. Yeah, he's not a stupid guy.